Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this GoEngineer presentation for SOLIDWORKS Manage. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive look at this new data management platform that SOLIDWORKS has introduced in 2018. At GoEngineer, we're really excited about this application because it's the first time in the SOLIDWORKS community where we've had the tools to bring to our customer base that will allow them to work within the same data model from ideation and engineering WIP all the way through the full range of product development stages. Fully documented, change controlled, through to end of life and obsolescence. Manage really represents a whole new range of possibilities for documenting the full product lifecycle. So when I really sat down to think about what SOLIDWORKS Manage is, I thought it really does bring the ability to manage the full product lifecycle. To me, that concept means cradle to grave. Everything we need to develop, document, release, and change control a product throughout its effective lifecycle. SOLIDWORKS is referring to Manage as a distributed data management tool. To me, this means that it's collecting in one data model all the key elements we need in the era of modern product design and centralizing them within a single data model. Instead of starting from scratch, Manage builds upon the solid foundation of PDM Professional as a seamless upgrade. As a result, I think of Manage as a hybrid application that is much more than the sum of its parts, and as such is both compelling and powerful, with features and functionality that are both broad and deep in just the right places. Manage is more than PDM and more than PLM in its approach to managing a full scope of product development applications. At GoEngineer, we foresee that Manage will be used in some cases very simply and powerfully to fill functional gaps in PDM such as task assignment and project management. It may do this even in environments where our customers are already using large entrenched PLM solutions at the enterprise level. Manage is nimble, easily configured, and will be a net positive productivity tool for both users and for the enterprise. Manage is flexible enough to be used by small development teams all the way to full enterprise deployments as the primary data management solution for the whole enterprise. Manage accomplishes all this via several key functional areas or modules. First and foremost, Manage builds upon and incorporates PDM Professional, which is the premier data management solution of choice for SOLIDWORKS CAD design teams worldwide. With built-in PDM, this means that Manage fully supports and maintains source control over the native CAD data and parametric reference management over the CAD BOM structure. It does all this within PDM's user-friendly, Windows-based environment that fosters an easy and efficient workflow for engineering work in process, while maintaining all working copy versions and revisions. Where PDM leaves off, however, is where Manage begins in earnest with powerful item management capabilities, where we need to build and weave a true relational database of connections and references on top of simple file-based CAD records. Full engineering BOM management goes beyond file management and of necessity requires item management to enable the product design team with the full capability of building and maintaining a true item master. A part number is never, of course, just one CAD drawing sitting in a file drawer somewhere, but is in reality a one-to-many relationship of models, drawings, product specs, procedural information, work instructions, and so on. True item management literally means the everything in the kitchen sink that contributes to defining the overall product record. Then next, of course, we have process management. These are item records that are process aware, that follow workflow and have affected item attachment for revision management and change control. And importantly, this means change control for the full item master product structure. Manage process records can extend as far as needed into the enterprise with everything from engineering and document change to quality problem reporting and everything in between. Manage brings enterprise-wide process management with the ease of configurability that you'd expect from SOLIDWORKS. Manage workflows can make use of closed-loop feedback, meaning that processes can begin or spawn other processes, and like a snowball rolling downhill. A simple problem report from quality might lead to a full 8D corrective action analysis and ultimately wind its way all the way through and culminate in a change order that implements the change full circle back to the product record. This means interdepartmental cooperation and traceability. Managed workflows can also make use of task assignment and named user approval so that everyone, everywhere, across all functional groups knows what they're assigned to review and complete. Project management is a real functional gap for our SOLIDWORKS and PDM communities at present, one that our customers often either do without or struggle with third-party project management tools that work fine for project planning but are typically completely reliant on the project managers for polling and updates, rather than relying on direct feedback from assigned resources. And standalone project management tools, unlike Manage, are absolutely never tied into the actual product record. After all, the BOM and deliverables are what a project plan is in the end attempting to manage. If you're not managing these deliverables and the project itself within the same system, project management is just an exercise in planning without any real connection or hope of effectivity. Here's where Manage helps across an entire portfolio of projects with tools for both project planning and project execution. It's like they say, no battle plan survives engagement with the enemy. And therefore Manage comes complete with a full assortment of tools that can take projects or product development cycles through the stages, milestones, and assigned tasks, while helping you anticipate critical path bottlenecks and resource loading, or track and mitigate risk. This could be anything from simple R&D engineering projects, all the way to full-blown new product introduction stage gate development, from concept all the way through to production and obsolescence. This really speaks to managing the full product lifecycle. Lastly, Manage rounds out this impressive offering with a powerful built-in analytics engine for dashboarding and reporting. Accumulate as much data as you like, but in the end, if you can't disseminate this information and provide your team with actionable information that they need to make informed, data-driven decisions, all is for naught. This is really a suite of business intelligence level analytical tools built upon DevExpress technology that comes fully integrated to Manage. This well of functionality goes deep here and is absolutely the star of the show, because reporting and analytics are really the heart and soul of product lifecycle management. Otherwise, how do you do it faster, smarter, and better next time if you have no means of analyzing your product data? Any tool of this caliber, such as Manage, must be able to compile and present data in human-friendly and easily digestible formats. Dashboards provide live data, so think charts, graphs, tables, dials, and widgets of all sorts. And reports as being the mature cousins, compiled form-based documents that aggregate data and present it on demand, or perhaps are triggered by a process event. Collecting data is not an end in itself, of course, it's rather a means to an end, and that end is ultimately the analysis, presentation, and use of that data in ways that bring value to an organization and provide feedback efficiencies into the whole system for constant improvement and cycle time management. And now finally, let's head over to Manage, where we can take a first-hand look. The first thing you notice once you begin using Manage is how intuitive and well laid out the UI is. Here in the navigation pane, I can easily traverse to any of the modules to which I have permissions to access. My homepage, documents and records, process records, project management, reports, companies and contacts for approved manufacturers, vendors, suppliers, and customer records, and internal resources for permissions, users, groups, etc. Here we're on the home screen, on the dashboards view, where we have access to as many dashboards as we care to build. No limitation, unlike many of the competitive products to Manage that highly restrict the number of dashboards and widgets. With Manage, there's no limitation placed on this. It's just up to your imagination and the numbers of different thematic dashboards that you'd like to put together for your users, groups, executive teams, project managers, etc. Then we have the My Work dashboards, where we're pinning all the files and records that we're currently working on, the projects to which we're assigned as a resource, workflows pending our attention, etc. And then we have the tasks dashboard, where we can review all the tasks to which we're assigned or that we've assigned to others. These are created by me, these are assigned to me. And if we have sufficient permissions, maybe project managers, admins, etc., we actually can have access to all tasks assigned to all other users. The tasks dashboard has its own built-in calendar with various views, such as timeline, where we can look at different scales, look at tasks over months or weeks or days. We can also look at reports that we've favorited or even timesheets that we're currently assigned to or have assigned to others. Next, we have the Documents and Records section. This module contains all of the record objects that you've configured to control all of the files, records, bill of materials, the entire item master at your fingertips. The yellow objects in the navigation pane are Manage Record Tables, whereas the green object is our friendly neighborhood PDM Pro Vault. Here we have PDM Professional in all its splendor, natively integrated into Manage so that all the files in PDM are accessible, searchable, and available to be used on BOMs, process records, projects, tasks, dashboards, or reports. An integration this complete, where the entire data model is immediately understood and where, from the moment you turn Manage on and sync the PDM database, it's fully aware of everything about PDM. Files, CAD BOM structure, metadata. If you've ever been involved in systems integration, this level of integration between a PDM CAD Vault and a PLM like Manage is literally worth its weight in gold. Or maybe, since it's software, worth its weight in Bitcoin. I don't know. Next, let's take a look at the Process Records module. This section contains all the record objects that you've configured to control any type of process-based record. Engineering change, quality issue tracking, or problem reporting and analysis, all of your company's process records at your fingertips. And because you're managing all of your processes across engineering and quality and all of your other departments within one system, one data model, this leads to interdepartmental cooperation and visibility of problems and changes and proposed solutions. But also, just structurally, it allows you to design process records that can close the loop with one another. So, for example, it might be that a problem report could be generated that could in turn create a CAPA or perhaps an ECR, alternately depending on the workflow. And then ultimately the ECR could then transform into an ECO record. And so you would have traceability from the point of the initial problem capture all the way through the proposed solution, maybe a full 8D kappa analysis workup, all the way through to the engineering change that completes the loop and pushes the change back into the product record. So unless you're doing all of your process control within one system, having workflows across disciplines interconnect and feed off one another is virtually impossible, but that's what Manage supports. Here perhaps I want to initiate a simple quality problem report. So I navigate to that record object and create a new record. Here, any of the property fields tagged with red asterisks are required. So at a minimum, I can see that I'll need to provide a description and assign a problem reviewer. Reviewers on all process records in Manage are named user, and you can configure them to be single or multi-select enabled for a given work stage and filter those based on groups or roles applicable to the business rules. Everything about the behavior that you see here, workflow properties, business rules, required users, etc., these are all easily configurable. Here I'll add an affected item to this report. And what I want to add is the top level bill of material that I've been working on for this project. And then finally I'll save the record. And additionally, I could begin a conversation thread on the Comments tab, or attach additional documentation as related file attachments, or assign any tasks that need to be completed in conjunction with this report. The workflows can also be configured such that they're unable to move from stage to stage until certain tasks are complete. This method is what I would call top-down process generation, where you create an item record and then add affected items to it. Another workflow that Manage supports for initiating process records is a more agile, bottom-up methodology, where you can go directly to the documents or records affected, and from any record or PDM file in the system, I can right-click on one or multiple records and select Send to Process. Here, instead of beginning top-down with the process record first, in one step, we're able to create a process record and attach the affected items directly. All I have to do now is select my problem reviewer again, and send it to the next stage in the process. And this Send to Process approach is a very efficient workflow for quick change methodologies. Now let me put on my problem reviewer hat for a moment. I would have received an email, or I will have found this approval pending my attention from the My Home screen process dashboard. I'll open the record to review it, and as the named approver, I can accept the process, which means to take ownership of the record or check it out. As part of my review, I would look at the process information, where I can see the full workflow map and trace the entire progress of the process record prior to it having landed on my doorstep. Perhaps here I've determined that it should be sent for a more thorough engineering evaluation. This report is configured to alternately be able to create a CAPA or an ECR at the conclusion of the process. If we went the CAPA route though, there we would also have the option of ultimately generating an ECR in the event that the problem analysis determines that an engineering fix may be required as part of the corrective actions. So I'll send this on, and the problem report will be completed and in turn create a corresponding ECR for us. From the new ECR here that was just created from this problem report, I have a hyperlink back to the initial problem report record that created this ECR, and can now begin the ECR's journey from here. Now finally, let's take a look at the project management module, where we have all of the project record objects that you've configured to control any projects that you want to manage. In concert with dashboarding and reporting to analyze and aggregate project data, and the fact that again we're executing project management in the same data model that we're storing all of our product deliverables, this combination provides you with a complete product portfolio management tool. The project structure can be templatized and can dynamically vary between projects in the same object, as well as across all the project objects or types that you've built to meet your project management goals. With this tool, we can manage everything from simple engineering R&D projects all the way to full NPI or new product introduction stage-gated lifecycle management. Project records can even be attached to process records as affected items and routed through workflow, making the possibilities of combined process and project management virtually endless. Let's open a project and take a closer look. As with all items in Manage, the Properties page is completely configurable and gives you unlimited possibilities for the number and types of fields that you need for a given record object. Everything you see here is easily configurable. From the Gantt chart, we have access to stage-specific information, such as stage-specific properties, tasks, assigned resources, and product deliverables. As a project management tool, it has all the bells and whistles you'd expect, with critical path analytics, resource management and loading metrics, stages, milestones, tasks, but specifically this, direct associativity to the product deliverables is very special. This again is the synergy of managing all your product deliverables within the same relational database. Everything is connected, traceable, visible. Finally, SOLIDWORKS Manage is compelling, powerful, has rapid time to value, and is enterprise friendly. It does this with combined PLM and PDM functionality, Natively integrated with PDM Professional, this is instant ROI compared to the huge expense and hassle of custom integration services and middleware required with most custom integration solutions. And this means one environment for managing your product data all the way from the native CAD data and CAD BOM all the way through to the full product BOM, meaning top to bottom change control and lifecycle management. Manage is flexible with licensing. With a concurrent use floating license model and multiple licensing levels available. Manage is licensed as a platform, not per module as is the case with many of its competitors. Is strong in analytics, with both real-time and on-demand reporting and dashboards, eliminating the expense and complication of integrating third-party business analytics tools while being flexible with an open and easily accessible SQL database if you'd like to use third-party reporting tools. Is fostering data-driven decision-making. Is a full product portfolio management tool with real-time project updates central to both project planning and project execution, and is tied to the actual product deliverables. Manages configuration, not customization. Is easily tailored with menu-driven admin controls, clicks, picks, drags, and drops. That's all it takes. So finally, SOLIDWORKS Manage is one data model, one platform, one experience. This has been Aaron with GoEngineer. Thanks so much for watching.